Okay, let's dive into this explainer and see how a seemingly useless, discarded item can be completely transformed with, of all things, a simple kitchen staple. Today, we're looking at a truly fascinating case study of natural resurrection called the garlic and the aquarium. Now, I know it sounds like a totally bizarre pairing, right? I mean, usually garlic belongs in a hot pan with onions, definitely not floating in a fish tank. But what we're going to explore today is how an ordinary piece of produce literally brought an abandoned space back from the brink. We'll be taking a close look at the mechanics, the biology, and the sheer incredible efficiency of this miniature ecosystem.
So let me ask you, are you throwing away your aquarium? It is incredibly common to look at an old, cloudy, abandoned fish tank sitting in the garage and just assume its useful life is completely over. But before you trash that old setup, we really need to pause and look at how one woman rescued hers right from the garbage bin. She looked at this empty glass box that most of us would deem totally useless, and she saw potential. Instead of just tossing it out, she repurposed it in a way that is just brilliantly resourceful, and that sets the entire foundation for what we're about to unpack.
Because honestly, just one garlic clove can change everything. It's wild to think about, but this everyday kitchen staple serves as the absolute catalyst to bring this entire tank back to life. She didn't rely on some expensive mechanical water filter, and she certainly didn't go out and buy complex chemical balancers from a pricey pet store. No, she used a bulb of garlic. It completely shifts our perspective on what tools we actually need to create and sustain life in a closed environment. Let's get right into part one, the setup, a simple wireframe. Let's break down the literal steps she took here, almost like a magician revealing the secret behind a really good trick. Step 1, she made a simple ring out of wire. Step 2, she used that wire to suspend the garlic clove right at the surface of the water. And step 3, she just let the roots grow down. That's it. That is the entire mechanical framework. By carefully hanging the garlic so it just hovers right over the tank, the garlic senses the moisture. Then, those delicate roots start to reach downward, extending deep into the water below. And once those roots grow out, they actually become a direct, fresh food source for the fish living in the tank. It's an incredibly elegant solution using literally the most basic materials you could imagine.
That brings us to part 2, the symbiosis, nature's perfect recycling loop.
Now, what's really fascinating here is the rhythmic, cyclical exchange of resources happening right before our eyes. You can kind of think of it as a high-stakes trade agreement. On one side, the garlic provides trailing roots for the fish to eat, and in the process of growing, it naturally filters and cleans the aquarium water. In return, the fish produce waste. Now, here is where some brilliant basic biology comes into play. Through the nitrogen cycle, that fish waste, which is actually initially super high in toxic ammonia, breaks down into nitrates, and those nitrates act as the absolute ultimate natural fertilizer, flowing right back up to feed the garlic. So the plant cleans the water, the fish grow healthy in that purified environment, and as they grow, they just create more waste to feed the plant. It's a perfect, endlessly spinning, natural recycling loop. But there is a catch. Let's look at part 3, the golden rule, avoiding rot. This entire system completely hinges on what we call the water rule. It is all about positioning the garlic so that only the roots touch the water, ensuring it thrives rather than decaying. If you just toss a garlic bulb straight into a tank, well, the entire system crashes. The garlic rots, the water spoils, and the ecosystem dies. So the survival of both the plant and the fish relies entirely on this one precise mechanical detail. You have to manage exactly where the garlic sits in relation to the surface of the water. Our source material actually puts this perfectly. It states, only let the garlic's roots touch the water so it grows vigorously without rotting. By keeping the main bulb completely dry and strictly allowing only those descending roots to submerge, this woman basically unlocked nature's superpower. The garlic grows energetically. It thrives rather than decays. This specific mechanic, the separation of the bulb and the root, using just that simple wire ring, is the ultimate secret to the whole shebang. It really teaches us that sometimes the difference between a thriving environment and a failing one is literally just a matter of millimeters. Which leads us to the big picture in part 4, a micro-ecosystem revived. This whole setup brilliantly illustrates the complete circle of life we've been unpacking today. A discarded tank was saved from the garbage. An improvised wire ring suspended a garlic clove. The roots grew down and fed the fish. The fish waste fertilized the plant, and the plant continually purified the water. What we have here is exactly what the source so beautifully describes as a small nature being born.
It summarizes perfectly how an abandoned, totally lifeless space became a vibrant, self-sustaining world. It is a completely closed-loop system fueled entirely by natural biological processes.
So what does this all mean for us? It leaves us with a really profound takeaway. If a discarded tank can become a thriving microecosystem with just a piece of wire and a clove of garlic, what else are we throwing away prematurely? I want you to leave this explainer today pondering that hidden, vibrant potential in the everyday items we just so carelessly cast aside. Nature has this incredible, relentless ability to bounce back and sustain itself if we just provide the right, simple framework. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope this makes you look at your kitchen and your recycling bin just a little bit differently.